So, good morning, Laura. How are you?
Very good.
That's great. How have you been in this day of the stay-at-home order?
Um, Pretty good. I am with my family, and we have been very good.
Okay, so far so good. That's great to know. So, today's topic on our weekly encounter, we're gonna focus on a topic. So there are also two people missing in here. They are Cesar Augusto and Yvonne. Let's see if they're gonna show up. If they don't, so maybe during the process, I think they're gonna catch up. So I want to start by sharing the screen with you, and let's see. Let me know if you can see my screen. Let's see. Can you see the screen?
Right now it is blank or black.
Yeah,
Oh,
I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it now.
now?
Yes. Do you learn better by yourself than with a teacher?
All right. So that's the question we're gonna be practicing today. So this is gonna be our discussion for this weekly encounter session. It's about learning your learning style. How do you prefer to learn better, even with a teacher or by yourself? So that's the question we're going to start focusing on right now. Do you learn better by yourself than with a teacher? So, Yesenia, what do you think?
I learn better with a teacher
All right, and why do you think that?
because I am not a very disciplined person and I always put in like other things first, and I only uh, take the time to do my learning process when I have like no time to wait more anymore any longer.
All right, when you can see, oh, I can't hold any longer, so you just get bored. All right. What about Laura? Do you learn
Um,
better by yourself or than with a teacher?
Both I can learn with a teacher, but I don't have any problem learning by myself. I think I can do it very well.
All right, have you ever tried to learn by yourself to be like autodidact, learning on your own? Have you doing it before?
Yes, I in my high school I did it. When I don't understand what the teacher was saying, I tried to learn by myself, and it works. It worked.
Oh, very good. So, how long ago did it happen? Happened last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
I like around 2 years ago, I think.
It happened about 3 years ago. All right, very good. So, let's move on with our class today because this is such an amazing topic today. So, it's important to learn a lot of things. So, on this slide, we can see another suggestion, and the suggestion has to do with the pros of learning by yourself. So the pros are the positive things. So Yesenia, could you please read it aloud?
The pros of learning by yourself. You will be able to learn at your own pace, focus on topics that interest you, practice whenever you want, even with the chance of making friends around the globe over the internet.
All right, let's analyze carefully this suggestion. So the pros, the positive things. Learn at your own pace. So when you learn at your own pace, is at your own, for example, rhythm. So we don't say velocity, but so it's just you and you set up the time and etc. You focus on topics that interest you. I don't know, music, or I don't know, medicine or art, etc., etc. You can practice whenever you want, in the morning, in the afternoon, in your free time, etc. With option of making friends over the internet, etc., etc. So now let's discuss this one. So let's start out with Laura. What other co pros do can you find learning by yourself?
I
Other,
think I think
yeah.
learning by yourself gives you discipline and you own your own process of learning. You can track where are you learning and how do you learning. So I think that is important. Know how you learned.
All right. So for example, what topics interest you the most when you go there to search for information? What do you like to learn about? Obviously in English.
History or politics, that kind of stuff.
Politics and what else do you say?
Politics. History.
History and politics. All right. So now, Jasenia, it's your turn. So, what topic interested you when learning the language?
Well, obviously, I am interested on learning English. So that is like what caught my attention. If I found something that I don't know, to investigate. And what other thing? Maybe cooking. You know, I'm a mother.
Okay.
I stay home, so I am in charge of giving or doing meals to my family. So I like to learn new recipes. Um, what else? I like to learn everything that I don't know. So, for example, if I am reading a book and there is something that I don't know and catch my attention, I go and research about it because I don't like to be with that doubt.
Great. So, you'll always go over and look it up and clear up your doubts. That's great. That's awesome. Also, one of the advantages is that we have the chance or the possibility to make friends over the internet. So let's see. Laura, do you have lots of friends over the internet where you you can chat with them or not?
I don't.
Eh,
Um, because I am not a talkative person. I think I prefer just read about what other people say in internet, but I don't participate it.
all right, so maybe you are a little bit introvert, I'll say, or not, or it's because you don't like it much.
Yes, I am really introvert. So I prefer stay on my own.
All right, so you don't see, for example, the chance of making friends over the internet, like a possibility to improve your English level, making friends, I don't know, for example, in the United States or in the UK or in Canada, just for practicing your English, you don't like it much?
No, I don't.
Definitely not. What about Jasenia? Making friends over the internet for practicing your English.
As Laura, I am not very good with people either. I have friends over the internet, but those are friends that I met before years ago, so we don't speak in English. And a few weeks ago, one of your tutors told me about a couple of sites where you can have a conversation with people around the globe. And I did sign, but I have never entered in any of those friend or chat requests because I feel like here it's like it doesn't make me very comfortable. You don't know what kind of people you are going to find there.
All right, that's maybe true, but I think there are a lot of things that positive and negative things over the internet, but the question has to do especially with practicing your English. Maybe you could found good friends like tutors also, but also I understand that maybe could be lots of dangers out there, but nobody knows. All right, so let's move on with the next one. So in here, Laura's going to help me reading the process of learning with a teacher. Could you please read aloud?
You'll be able to learn the right structures of the language, giving feedback constantly. Learn and practice the four skills equally, face-to-face interaction.
All right, so let's analyze this. So learn the right structures of the language. When you are learning English or any language with teacher, it's a good idea to focus on the structures. In this case, it has to do with the grammar. Also, it's equally important to focus on the four skills, especially when it comes to learning the language. I mean, focuses on listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So in the right way, because sometimes people learn or are able to learn a language by their own, but they don't get the right structures. They are pretty good at listening and speaking, but not very good at reading or writing. So it's a mix of both. It's combining the four skills. So that's pretty important. So also you have the chance of giving feedback constantly. So the teacher is going to tell you what is right and what is wrong immediately. So you'll learn from those mistakes and you move on. So you're learning the right way. And face-to-face interaction. So you are there, let's say, for example, in a classroom or in a private class, interacting with the teacher all the time. So for some people, like it very much since the gestures also transmit meaning. Maybe when you do it alone or online, it's not about the same. So that's some of the positive things that you can find learning with a teacher. So Yesenia, what other aspects do you like about learning with a teacher?
In matters of discipline, when you have the company of a teacher, you know that you have to do the things on time that you have to. So
All
there is
right.
no space to lose time. And what other thing? Mm, well, basically, yes, that's for me because those that you give are like very real, especially
Oh,
the giving the feedback because
okay,
you can
great.
learn the structures on the internet or on the books and even learn and practice, but the feedback you are not going to receive it if it's not with a teacher.
All right. What about Laura? What's your concept about this point?
Well, I think you you learn easily when you are with teacher because I think a teacher can lead you to learn learn language right because if you learn your own sometimes you don't learn the structures as 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 you want to learn it because you don't know if you are doing it right.
Great, excellent. So now, when it comes to learning with teacher, so talking from personal experience, what skills do you focus on the most, or personally? You like to focus on listening or reading or speaking or writing. So what skill or skills do you consider to be the most important to you and why, Yesenia?
Tutor Laura se salió. Okay, I am more focused on the listening and speaking. She's back. Uh, I
Sorry.
consider myself that I have like the ability to read and even to write, maybe not in a wide way, but I consider that I am not that bad. As I know that I have very difficult with the speaking, so I focus on listening and speaking the para so I can improve.
So reading and speaking,
No, listening and speaking.
listening and speaking. All right, very good. So Laura is there?
Yes,
Yes, she,
sorry.
All right. So I was asking Yesenia about what are the skills she pays special attention. So what about you? What are the skills that you prefer to practice or reinforce the most? Listening, speaking, reading, or writing, and why?
I think writing and speaking because I in these cases is it I sometimes don't get confused about how to write properly, or I mix words while I am speaking, and so it doesn't makes any sense.
All right, very good. So reading and speaking, you told us. All right, very good, very important. So now, another advantages that you would like to add up to this contest in here about learning with the teacher. Anything else you want to say about it?
I was thinking maybe the motivation because when
Motivation.
yes, when you are learning by yourself, you maybe don't know that you can give more, but the teacher knows that there are things that you can reach better and motivates you to get it.
All right, that's pretty important. That's such a good idea. What about Laura? Do you have anything else to add to the list about the process of learning with the teacher?
Discipline, I think when you are with a teacher and you have to achieve some like tasks, you have to make tasks with a specific time. So when you are alone, you don't have to because you are on your own rhythm.
Or at your own, with your own pace. All right, good, excellent. Now, the idea to discuss is in on this slide. What about both of them? So this is going to be like an integration, integrating the way of learning with the teacher, as well as integrating the way by learning on your own or by yourself. So I'm going to read this one. It says, what about both of them? Learn basic concepts about the language, practice them in your local surroundings, interact either with the teacher or your friends in the target language. So this is integrating both. Learn by yourself and learn by with a teacher. So, do you usually do it both? I mean, interacting with the teacher and then with friends or on the target language? Yes or not? Let's say Jasenia.
I have been many years without studying with other person. I am only focused on studying with my course partners, but it's only like sharing the aportes and that's it.
Okay,
So
your comments or contributions.
yes,
All right.
contribution, but no, in a deeper way. Just okay. Here are my contributions, and let's send the job and the work, and that's it.
Okay, what about Laura?
Right now, I don't share a, a lot with teacher or or mates, but a couple of years ago, I do with my teacher because I have a high level than my mates, so I can share information with them because they don't understand. But my teacher, I did.
All right, very good. So what about practice them in your local surroundings? For example, have you ever had the need of using your the English language in a surrounding, for example, helping a stranger, giving directions, or giving instructions in your city or town, or never? Let's see, Yesenia.
Mm, I think I haven't had like very much opportunities. What I remember right now is that a few months ago I have an aunt that lives in Florida, and she lives in a home because she is old and she is sick. So my father and his siblings were worried because they didn't know about her. So they make me call to the home to know about her, and I have been always like ashamed to speak in front of the others, and he was here and my husband was here with me, and I was like really nervous. So, and that moment in that moment I forgot everything I knew, and I was speaking in a very basic English, and those ladies are really rude because I assume they have a lot of work, so they don't have the patience to attend a phone call. And that is why I have decided to take these spaces to practice, because we need to practice it, otherwise we are not going to learn properly.
So you feel a little uncomfortable because you thought you didn't have a lot of fluency enough to communicate with them, let's say
Yes.
fast, or when you thought you forgot the words, how to communicate meaning, etc. So you felt awkward. Awkward means
Yes.
like you felt like it's strange. Oh, this is what I'm doing, or something like that. This is not me though. All
Yeah.
right, good. So what about Laura?
Well, my aunt is married with an American, so every time he comes, we speak a lot. Even he speaks Spanish very well, but he is have he have forgotten how to speak it sometimes, and we he talk a lot. He talked to me a lot, so I practice my speaking when he comes, and I use my English every day because I constantly reading and listening information in English. So to I and sometimes read aloud to in order to practice. So yeah,
So how often does he come to the country?
like 2 years and that stuff, around 2 years, every 2 years.
All right, very good. So that's a great opportunity for you to practice your own language. That's right. You're learning. Very good. Your English level. So now that's the moment because it's we're going to start discussing about what we can find about negative aspects. So far we have been practicing about the process of learning by yourself, also the process of learning with the teacher, now combining both of them, meaning learning with the teacher and learning by yourself or on your own. But now everything has, the setbacks or the negative aspect. That's something we're going to discuss right now. The cons of learning on your own. The cons in this context means the negative aspects of learning on your own. So, Laura, read aloud, please.
The cons of learning on your own. No self-discipline, no face-to-face interaction, lack of flexibility, lack of input for trainers, slow evolution. Good e-learning is difficult to do.
All right, so let's go over this and try to understand one by one. So, no self-discipline, because remember, when you are learning on your own, sometimes you get late. You are procrastinating all the time. So, procrastinate, remember, is to postpone. You say, oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. No, I'm going to do it next week. No, I'm going to do it next month. No, I'm going to do it in the afternoon. No, I'm going to do it at night. So you're always postponing or procrastinating. So discipline is a key factor if you want to learn on your own or by yourself. So discipline is difficult to keep or to stick at it. No face-to-face interaction because you are just with your laptop computer, your phone, or your tablet, and there is no interaction at all. Lack of flexibility, so it's quite similar to the discipline. So because if you could do it in the morning or sometimes in the afternoon or just a specific time because you're working or studying all day and your maybe that schedule you have is not so flexible at all. So as a result, it's not possible for you to practice as much. Then we have a lack of input from trainer. The input is the feedback. So another person is going to correct or tell you about your mistakes. You don't have that chance at all. So if you learn something by heart and you instill it that way, it's, it's not impossible, but it's difficult to correct that mistake. I remember myself when I was learning English, some vocabulary, and instead of saying apple, I used to say apple. So always I used to say apple, apple, apple. And I realized that it was not the correct way to say it. So it's important to learn the right structures, so and pronunciation obviously, but there's something that you're not going to do it on your own. So it takes time to correct those mistakes. And the evolution maybe is not the best. You feel like trapped, like you are always in the same place because over and over again you seems to be in the same space. You are in the same position. You need to leave your comfort zone, so you need like a push. So that's why the evolution is not the same. And good learning is difficult to do so. Why? Because there are many factors that affect that situation, like the other mentions above: discipline, interactions, and feedback. So let's see that you are in a position of learning on your own. What other difficulties can you find when learning individually? Let's say Yesenia.
Mm, well, the impossibility to practice, the the not knowing if you are doing it right, and not having someone that pushed you to go farther or further.
Okay,
mm,
farther.
Further. Um, Maybe one can get frustrated
All
if you
right.
don't have like the company of someone that shares the process with you.
You could feel frustrated. All
Frustrated.
right, good. So what about Laura? What other aspect could you add to the list? The console learning on your own.
You don't have the space to practice your speaking with someone. I think speaking gives you like a reference of how language should be taught, and like how you have to um use the words, so you don't have this space when you are learning on your own as well, and you don't know if you are doing the things right, and you sometimes can feel frustrated because you don't know that. That's I think, but I haven't experienced that. I don't have experienced that because I have the chance to have a good level before I started to study here.
All right, very good. So now let me ask you this personal question to both of you. So when you study individually, let's say when you're doing your tags, your homeworks, or different subjects here for the university, what about your self-discipline? Do you consider yourself having good self-discipline? If so, tell us about it. So let's see, Jasenia, do you have self-discipline when doing your homeworks, your subjects,
No,
university?
no, no, I don't have. I always leave that everything to the end.
Now you postpone the thing or leave it to the last minute.
Yes.
All right, so no self-discipline at all. So what about
No.
Laura? Okay, and Laura, what about you? Do you consider yourself having self-discipline when it comes doing homeworks and tasks for university?
Yes, when when it's starting a new task, I started immediately, so I always have a lot of time in the end to look for mistakes or that things or those things, because I always try to um check everything when I started to make it since the beginning.
All right, very good. So I know what you mean. So another one, let's see. Since this happens directly or indirectly, I mean, sometimes we have to study alone or by ourselves. How do you rate your evolution from 0 to 10? So the evolution that you get when studying individually, alone by yourself. Let's rate it on a scale from 0 to 10. So, Jasenia, how do you see yourself, the evolution you're getting when you are studying alone from 0 to 10, and why?
Let's say a 6, because of myself not discipline. Weight B, I get tired, and I always have like distractions. So if I am doing some learning process and it is a difficulty or something that is going to change my focus, so it makes my process slower.
Okay, got it, understood. And what about Laura? On our, let's rate it. On a scale from 0 to 10, how do you rate your evolution with learning alone or on your own?
Well, I think I have a very good concentration, and when I'm learning, I get very focused on it until I am finished. And when specifically I'm learning English, I think I am a 10, because I I I I already know structures and that kind of stuff, so the process is a little easier for me.
All right, so congratulations. So you get out of 10, you get 10. All right. It means that you have a good discipline, that you're
Yes.
committed when you're learning something, in this case, the language. Congratulations. So another, this is the cons of learning on your own now. Let's analyze what could be, for example, the cons or learning with a teacher. So Laura, could you read it loud, please?
The cons of learning with a teacher: expensive, set a timetable, pace of learning.
All right, so let's analyze one by one. Let's go over them. So expensive. So let's see. The education that you get at school is goes without saying that it's not high quality. So you are in a classroom with 20, 25, 30 classmates. So it's not the best education you can get. If you go to an English academy, in this case, it costs a lot of money. It's not quite cheap. Otherwise, you can have the amount of students is going to be fewer. So you're going to have fewer students, let's say 10 or even less, 6, 7, I don't know. Or if you do it in on your, let's say just you, in a private class. Private classes are a little quite expensive. That depends of the amount of money the teacher is going to charge. Some teacher charge, let's say 25, 30,000, 40,000, or even 50,000 per class. So you need to have the money to pay for those classes. So not easy though. You have to set a timetable, schedule, because if you study or work, you need to have some time available to have your classes either in the morning or in the afternoon or at night. And also you need to have a frequency, meaning how often you're going to get your classes: twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, or on the weekends. So it's is a factor that you need to keep in mind. And lastly is the pace of learning. So that is positive or negative. Positive because you're getting ahead easily because it's just you and the teacher. So meaning that you're going to learn even faster. But if you're in a classroom with 25 students, with 30 students, or even more, you're not going to learn the same way because it's impossible for a teacher to pay attention in this context to 30 students or even more. So you're not going to say you think you're not learning the same way. So these are the cons of learning with the teacher. So let's say, Laura, what other cons apart from these ones and the explanation I have given to both of you consider could be added to the list? What would be other cons of learning with a teacher?
For example, where when you learned in a school, in the school, teacher has a lot of students, so they can focus on you. So when it's different when you pay in institution to learn, but when you're in the school, teachers don't can track your process.
All right, that's great. So what about Yesenia? What else can you add to the list?
I think that one important thing that helps on a learning process is like to have some sympathy with the teacher, because sometimes there are teachers that, of course, we are human and we are not going to gather well with everyone. And if you have a teacher that it doesn't, you don't have like a good feeling, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Or if those kind of teachers that are not open to the students' opinions and
All right.
only accept what they say, so it is going to make like a wall on that learning process.
All right. It's gonna be like a setback. So let's see. Have you ever had the chance of having private classes? Yes or no? When did it happen? How was the experience? Let's start out with Laura.
Yes, when I was like 13 years old, I won a scholarship because I was a good student. So I study like 12 hours at per week English. So yeah.
So, but do you have your classes where do you have to go to an English academy or the teacher went to your place? Or how was that scholarship?
It was in the school. It was with a private uh um institution, but it was in the it was we used the school to learn like with 10 students.
All right, good. It was a partnership with the school.
Yes.
Got it. So, what about Jasenia? Have you ever had private classes before? When did it happen and how did it go?
I had private classes, but it wasn't only for me, but with my mother, father, and my sister. Uh, our teacher, we went to an academy, but for the time, the schedules, they decided to pay the teacher to come home, and I, uh, fortunately, we had a very good teacher. He taught us a lot of things. And one thing he taught me, and I have never forgot, is that even though you know much, you never know all. So there is always a thing that you can learn in a new class. So I, I haven't had bad experience in that personal teaching process, but I did have had bad experiences when it's inside a group of many students.
All right, very good. So, both of you have had experiences when it comes to having private lessons. So, you said they're being okay for now. Laura says it was with that partnership with the academy. You, Yesenia mentioned that it was long ago going to the academy and they ended up having the classes at home. It's been such a great learning experience. So that's so good to know. So another thing I would like to know about you is what about setting a timetable? So this is with a teacher, but what about in your personal experience of learning? In this case, about um, carry out your career. So, what time do you usually study for university? You prefer to study in the morning or in the afternoon or at night? So, what about Laura when it comes to university?
I spend a lot of time in the afternoons and even the night because I think I can work better in before more before no after morning. I am not a morning person, so I prefer study later.
All right, so you feel comfortable studying either in the afternoon or at night. Great.
Yes.
So, what about Jasenia? Where do you feel more comfortable to study in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, and why?
I think that I have a better perform at night because I know that after my kids' bedtime, I don't have any other distraction. I don't need to think about food or homework or uniforms, nothing. So I am 100% focused on the university homework.
All right, even though it's a little bit hard because at night maybe you just falling asleep, you feel like drowsy, I don't know, I want to go to bed. And so, for example, as Laura says, in the afternoon, sometimes you get tired, you want to take a nap or something. So it's difficult.
Mm.
As for me, I wish I had the time to do it in the morning, but I usually had to do it in the afternoons or at night. So, but I think according to experts, the best time for you to learn something better is in the morning. I don't know because it's something that is go has to do with your natural process of learning. But I don't know. Everybody has different learning styles, so you can use the best at any time of the day. So, and last but not least, let's try to focus on reaching out on conclusions about the original statement. So remember that the original statement is, or was in this case, do you learn better by yourself than with a teacher? So let's try to focus on the final thoughts about it. So what are gonna be your conclusion, the aspect that you like, or yeah, something you learn from either the two options, learning on your own or learning by yourself. So let's start talking. Let's start having a little discussion in here. Let's say, Laura, what can you sum up about the counter about learning on your own or with the teacher?
I think if you know how to learn on your own, you can have a really good process. But if you don't have discipline, it can be tough to learn. But I think is some can be like a faster process when you are learning with a teacher that on your own. But it depends. I think the person to person. How do you learn?
All right, that's one of the final thoughts. What about Yesenia? What would you like to say about it?
I think it would be really nice for all of us to have both opportunities, to have the opportunity to learn by ourselves, but having the chance to have the assistance of a teacher,
All right,
to
they have
have
good.
just to have the motivation, to have the feedback of you are doing things well or not very good. I think that both types are the best match.
Okay, so let's see. I Sometimes we had to use imaginary questions that are very difficult sometimes uh, because we can find ourselves between the evil and the deep blue sea. So the question goes like this: if you have the chance to choose between learning with a teacher or by yourself, which one will you choose and why? If you have the chance or the possibility to select or to choose between the two, learning by yourself or with a teacher, which one will you choose and why? Do you understand the question?
Yes.
All right. So, Laura, what about you?
I think right now learning by myself, I think I can be very productive and I know how to do stuff. I know how I learned. I know that I can improve by myself a lot because I know my my skills, my lacks. So I think I can do a good job by my own.
All right. And what about Yesenia? Answer the question.
I would rather prefer to have a teacher, to study with a teacher, because I know that I am going to be focused on a determined time of the day to study, and I am not going to have any things that is going to steal my concentration, and I'm going to have the chance to ask questions, to solve doubts that I have, and for me that is going to make the learning process faster.
All right. Very good. Nowadays, in our advantage, we have the use of technology. So, in which ways do you take advantage of technology to improve your learning process? So, how often do you use technology in your learning? So, Laura.
all the time. I think on internet there is a lot of information you can use to learn easier. So I think I relate a lot on internet because I find information uh really easy to learn, and it's really interactive, and it's a nice process because of that.
All right. What about Yesenia? What about technology in the learning process? How often do you use it, and how do
I,
you use it?
I know that there are a lot of new apps and things to practice, and you teachers have sent us a lot of links with very, very good tools to practice and learn. But as I told you, I need to work on sitting in front of the computer or the phone or the tablet and start doing those activities. Those apps are meant to be used to learn. I
All right.
am working on it. I am working. I am taking these days to
Yeah.
to be very juiciosa and on doing
Okay.
all those practices.
To be like a little, so much committed. All right, in this regarding this matter.
Committed.
So let's see. With Laura, what are, for example, if you like to share with your partner, what are some of the most common websites that you use on your own to practice English? If you can share with your partner some of your websites that you like the most to practice.
Well, I don't have a specific one. I think I just search on internet. I when it comes to learning new words, there is a really good app that is the only one I have because it's called Word Up.
You
And
say Word app, this one,
no, up.
or UP.
Yes. And this one is really good because you can learn a different words, and there is like it's for people who lives like in a country where is English is speaking is spoke, sorry. So this app is very useful for that because it gives you like the word and the meaning.
All right. So let's see. It pops up. I mean, it activates whenever you turn on your phone. So whenever you through, let's say you turn on or turn off your phone, or you're not using it, and then when you want to use it once again, it pops up a new word with the definition and the context.
Yes, if you have downloaded on your phone, it doesn't matter if you can like weeks or even months later.
All right, that's good. Oh, now, Jasenia, what kind of website you usually share with your students? No, sorry. What kind of website do you usually use on a daily basis to improve or practice your English, and that you like to share with our class?
I use there is a website that gives you like many synonyms to different words,
All right, what
and
is
I
it?
use that a lot to when I write in my homework. It is the Thesaurus. Let me write it here. I'm going to
Uh,
give you the link.
the thesaurus.
That something like that, and I like that very much because that avoid to have to repeat words on the text you are writing. I
Oh, okay.
also Yeah, I also use Lingui because sometimes I don't know the meaning of a word, I use word reference also to understand what a word means.
This is the thesaurus. This is like a dictionary where you can find, let's say, synonyms and stuff. Also, the dictionary word reference.
Let me see what else do I have here.
Good.
No,
All right.
no. Sometimes I go to the YouTube and see those videos they have, especially regarding the pronunciation.
All right. Very good. Excellent. So we have an app which is Word app. We have a thesaurus, which is a dictionary that you can uh, find synonyms to words and complete sentences. Helps you to write effectively in English. Word reference, which is a very good dictionary on YouTube channel where you can learn, have lessons for free. And I like to share with you, for example, one that I like to share with my students in class. It's a good one because you can find a lot of different topics. Also, English courses for free. It's called the VOA. This is the Voice of America, and you have this is the general interface. You have, if you click on this, you're going to find information about around the world. Obviously, in English. If you click on it, this you're gonna have a lot of info. If you like reading, all the contents, new vocabulary, etc., etc. You can also find videos or radio, and as well as podcasts, or you just go back to the main interface and you click on this one, especially VOA Learning English. This is the one that I like to recommend the most. You're going to find audio and podcasts as well as uh, vocabulary for you to learn. For example, in this one, and on this reading, you click on it, and usually the reading has at the very end vocabulary on context. So, and usually they have a quiz. This is for reading comprehension. You click on here, you start doing the quiz. They tell you about the words that you have used in the reading and the definition in the context they are in, etc., etc. Also, you have all of these for you to use. All right, you have English in a minute, English at the movie, etc., etc. This is the way they show you and how to learn vocabulary in context. Let's click up, for example, this one. This, you're up to something in a movie, and they start talking about what it means. They ask you, for example, a phrasal verb or an expression, you're up to something, and give you the options. And ask you about the definition of the word is between A or B. And then at the very end, they give you the answer. And give you the definition of that word. So this is, for example, the one that I'd like to recommend to my students. So I hope that you can use it on a regular basis, and it's going to be pretty useful for you to learn. The name is VOA. Just simply say write down, click on VOA, and that's it. This is the Voice of America. It's a good website for you to practice. Okay, my friends, my dear students, so far we have finished our class, our encounter. Remember that in the following week we have no classes because it's Holy Week. We're going back again in 2 weeks, so make sure you schedule your classes ahead of time. Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank you, tutor.
have a good day and enjoy the Holy Week, and ask Jesus to help us to defeat the coronavirus.
Yes.
All right.
To this finish soon, and we can go and recover our normal life.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's
Thank,
it for now. Bye bye and have a good day.
bye bye,
Okay,
tutor.
bye,
Thank you very
teacher.
much for your help.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Stay safe.